Hey everyone, welcome back to Realpolitik. Today we're going to be talking about the latest developments in Ukraine from May 6, 2023. All right, so first we're going to be focusing on Bakhmut. As you can see, the Ukrainians don't control much of Bakhmut, something like 5%. And May the 9th is Victory Day for Russia, the day when they prevailed in World War II. And they would like to take the remaining areas of Bakhmut before that date, preferably. So, anyways, both both the main roads in and out of Bakhmut are under fire control, as I've mentioned previously. And there's some smaller roads, dirt roads, but they're difficult to traverse. But anyways, the Ukrainians apparently they're sending more and more troops into Bakhmut, hundreds of soldiers on a daily basis. So we're going to look at a couple different maps. This is the live UA map. And now we're going to look at the deep state map. And the deep state map, the great thing is you can go back in time just by clicking, and we're going to do that. So this is where we're at right now. Let's go back about a month. So going back to the beginning of April, you can see that Wagner has taken a significant amount of territory, right? So let's just go forward. And anyone who's been watching this struggle over Bakhmut, you'll realize that right now the amount of time it's taking for Wagner to move forward, they're doing it really quickly, and that's because of the introduction of the Fab 500 bombs, and they've brought in the TOS flamethrowers. Anyways, aside from this map, let's look at the ISW map. So they're all more or less the same. You see this northern road right here, and the road to the south in the ISW map. The orange, by the way, is it's territory that Russia claims it controls. The blue is territory that Ukraine has won back allegedly. But anyways, they're all more or less all the same in the ISW map. There's more claimed Russian control in the south compared to here. Um, and this map uses a gray zone. But anyways, that's that. I want to look at a video of a few videos of Bakhmut. Uh, Basically, let's look at this one first. I'm going to kill the volume for copyright reasons. And you can see that basically the area of Bakhmut that's under Ukrainian control, um, the Russians are basically trying to wipe it off the map, right? It's hard to believe the Ukrainians are still sending troops into Bakhmut. I mean, um, they're basically being sent to their deaths at this point. All the roads are under Russian control. In my previous video, I showed you a video of how the basically even the road, one of the only roads left, is littered with Ukrainian armored vehicles. So just getting there is a burden, right? But just getting there is somewhat of a death sentence for the Ukrainians. And anyways, let's look at another video. These are all from the last 24 to 48 hours, by the way. And you can just see the level of destruction, right? It's all been turned into rubble, right? I mean, there's basically nothing left. Um, and these look like fireworks, but they're thermite bombs. Basically, um, They explode in the air, and then it's toxic as well, and it can burn people alive. They flood the area with these bombs. This is aside from the TOS flamethrower, which vaporizes people alive. This right here is a picture showing how that area, um, the area that I showed in the video just now, that's being burnt, the Ukrainian controlled area, it's been geolocated. So right here. Okay, so let's look at the last video. This is the aftermath. The Ukrainians recording the aftermath of Russian bombing. I mean, yeah, you can just see that it's all turned to rubble. I don't know why the Ukrainians are still holding out. Um, I can't understand it, but anyways, let's talk about something else. Prigozhin recently has made some pretty interesting and controversial statements. So, in one video, in this video, he basically goes on a rant and he shows off the corpses of dead Wagner fighters. And he's basically claiming that, this wasn't necessary. And he's ranting about, every one of these people has a family. And he's basically complaining about not receiving enough supplies from the Russian military because this is nothing new. The Russian military and Prigozhin, the head of Wagner, have not always seen eye to eye. He's complained about not receiving sufficient supplies before, but he's basically saying in this video that that recently 100 of his soldiers died, and it was unnecessary. It's because they didn't have enough supplies. So, anyways, the mainstream media is even showing pictures of him going off. So there's that, and then also something else I should mention. Gonzalo Lira, he's a famous blogger on YouTube. I used to watch him here and there. He's been arrested. I don't know why he went to Ukraine when he's very critical of the Ukrainian government, calling them neo-Nazis or whatever. But yeah, he's been arrested. A lot of people were asking about him lately. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking. Anyways, back to Prigozhin. This is on Twitter. So basically, news update, Bakhmut. Prigozhin confirms my earlier estimate that around 500 Ukrainian soldiers a day are transported into Bakhmut in 50 to 70 armored personnel carriers. He actually said 4 to 600, but that's near enough. He also said the Ukrainian losses are about the same level as reinforcements every day. So they lose 4 to 600 and they send 4 to 600. I have no idea why they would be sending any more soldiers into Bakhmut. I mean, it's basically a done deal. Maybe they're trying to hold out till May the 9th as a symbolic act, just like that kamikaze drone that blew up over the Kremlin yesterday. And there's a lot of different theories about it, but I think I've thought about it. I think they were trying to basically I think it was blown up where it was meant to be blown up near the Russian flag. It's just a symbolic gesture, right? But anyways, he's just talking about the situation in Bakhmut. So in another video, this guy loves to make videos. He's talking about how basically they're not getting enough supplies, blah blah blah, and he's talking about what does he say? There's like 2.5 square meters left, and he also mentions that he's upset about not receiving enough supplies, and that Wagner is going to leave on the 10th of May, so in like 5 days. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, he mentions 2.5 kilometers the Ukrainians control, right? So if that's true and they control 2.5 kilometers, let's just measure it out roughly. And this would be 2.5 kilometers. And then from here, you'd go 1 kilometer. So yeah, it's about 2.5 kilometers squared. Yeah, that's pretty much, if you can imagine slanting this and putting it right here. Yeah. So from what we're hearing, Wagner is actually going on their final offensive. They want to take the remaining territory before the 9th, before Victory Day, commemoration of World War II in Russia. So yeah, that's it looks like this is the end, the last battle for Bakhmut. Now Zelensky, he was in Europe. He was supposed to come back to Ukraine. He should have returned by now, but with that drone attack in at the Kremlin in Moscow yesterday, after that happened, he made an announcement that he was going to stay in Europe for longer. And currently, he went from the Netherlands to Poland. So he's in Poland, and there are some rumors that as soon as he returns, because the weather's improved, that the Ukrainians are going to go on their much anticipated counter-offensive. And all along Kherson, all along Zaporizhia, there are clashes all along Zaporizhia. And of course, the Russians continue to, there have been several, like probably, I mean, there's so many artillery strikes daily, thousands, hundreds, thousands. Um, and you can see just when I turn this feature on, the disparity in firepower. It's all the Russians basically hitting Ukrainian positions, right? These red bomb symbols represent Russian strikes on Ukrainian positions. So, of course, the Russians, in terms of artillery, they fire 10 times as much artillery as the Ukrainians. And, there are people who say that the Russians are running out of supplies, this, that, but they are conducting drone strikes with the Geron 2, the Iranian made drones, and also the Lancet drones on a daily basis. There's so many videos that are released. I mean, the Russians are targeting Ukrainian army bases. They're targeting ammo depots. There's just too many to name. But basically, this video is significant. It's the one of the heads of the Russian army, Sergei Shoigu, and he's inspecting an area along the front, and they're showing off dozens and dozens of T90s. From what I'm hearing, there's hundreds of T90s actually that have been built and sent to the front recently. In this video, we see several dozen of them at least. So this kind of counters any claim that the Russians are not able to produce T90s or advanced weapons. And these are, obviously they have a lot more than this. And there's other ones like T72s. They've also their T62s, T80s, T55s. They've also brought out of storage. And some people will say, well, that shows they're desperate. Well, no, because, a tank is better than no tank. And even a refurbished, modernized T55, which the Ukrainians also use, it's a lot better than like a Humvee or, something like that. So I'm talking about a refurbished T55, right? Um, with a new fire control system, reactive armor, whatnot. So, have a tank is better than no tank, and it's better than an SUV or something, right? So, anyways, there's that, and also, by the way, the it seems that the Leopard 2s are making their way to the front as well because the Leopard 2s have been seen in Odessa making their way to the front. This is right here, right? And also reportedly, um, the Ukrainians are building up forces all along the front with the Dnieper River, and obviously with all the activity lately, with how they crossed and went onto these islands, or they tried to, they got bogged down, and the Russians bombed the shit out of them. But essentially, it's obvious that they have plans to cross the Dnieper River. And I've even heard that U.S. engineers are consulting with them on how to rebuild this bridge, for example, the main bridge connecting the mainland to the Russian-controlled area to the Ukrainian-controlled area, the different banks of the Dnieper to each other. So they say that in 12 hours they could fix it, but then the Russians will just target it again, right? Just like the Ukrainians continually targeted the bridge with HIMARS, and that pretty much hampered the Russian supply lines, and that's pretty much the main reason they had to withdraw from Kherson, because their lines were holding. When the Ukrainians they incurred thousands of casualties, and the Russians, their line of defense was actually holding up pretty well. But whereas before, where supplies were flooding in, after the Ukrainians continually targeted the bridges over the Dnieper, and supplies, it got to a point where they were only trickling in. So it was a logistics issue, really. Um, and they had to withdraw, right? So, I mean, even if the Ukrainians fixed this bridge, for example, in 12 hours, the Russians could just easily bomb it again, with Fab 500 bombs, artillery, you name it, right? And that's the thing about river crossings; they're really difficult. Now, with this river right here, see, another target would be the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, and obviously this river crossing is a lot longer than like the river right here. And all Russian tanks and armored vehicles can do shallow river crossings. All their armored vehicles, all their tanks can do it. Um, but yeah, the Ukrainians have to build up a lot of forces on this side of the bank before they can do anything, and the Russians are just continually pounding Ukrainian positions with artillery. And the Russians have satellite intel, and they have spies on the other side. They have drones. So yeah, I mean, crossing is not going to be easy, especially now the Russians are well aware of what the Ukrainians want to do. So it's not going to be easy, right? Um, Anyways, that's it for today, guys. If you've watched till now, please like and subscribe, comment and share, and I will see you guys in the next one.